I'm Christopher Lloyd, but Chris is fine. And my job is, well, it's a great job. I'm very lucky. I run a publishing company, I write books, and I give lectures. It's a lot of fun.
Recently, you kicked off Britannica Books. Could you talk a little bit about that project?
Yes, I mean, I founded a publishing company, What on Earth Publishing, 10 years ago. About 18 months ago, I happened to be in Chicago, and I was fortunate enough to meet the folks at Britannica. And at that time, they were looking for a publishing partner to create an imprint that would focus on children's nonfiction publishing up to the age of sort of 0 to 14. I think that word curiosity was very much the topic of conversation at the dinner table. And this is what these books that we're publishing at Britannica are all about.
December 10th, Britannica is celebrating Curiosity Day. Why is being curious such an integral part of lifelong learning?
Well, you know, it's what makes us human, really. It's not just what makes us human. I mean, our brains, as I was saying, are not divided into A to Z or into different subjects. All they care about is making connections. And when you make a connection, that is curiosity actually happening. And the cells in our brains, they need to be connected. And every time they make a connection, you see the world in a slightly different way. That's why we've called this encyclopedia What We Know and What We Don't. Because so often, the most interesting questions don't have answers. Well, either we don't know the answers or experts can't agree. But that's what makes them so interesting. So the idea of going to an encyclopedia to find out what we don't know is really cool. Is there life on other planets? Nobody actually knows. And this is what's so exciting to kids because they may be able to find out the answers. If your brain isn't curious, you get a disease called boredom. And I think of it as a disease. And it's the brain that isn't curious anymore.
An interesting point, especially because so many children right now are at home and doing the remote learning. How do you think the pandemic and children being at home has impacted their curiosity?
Well, I am an optimist. So I think there are many kids out there who are actually becoming more self-learners. A whole lot of holistic development can happen in a way that is stifled often, too often, in an institutionalized learning environment.
What are some activities that children could do at home to try to expand their curiosity?
Well, I think we all naturally love nature, but I think that if we can try and connect young kids with the outdoors, rediscover our immediate environment, we need to connect with our family and our loved ones. The best way to connect through curiosity is when adults and children learn things together. In the normal pre-COVID world, children will be sent to do their homework and, you know, parents will be doing other things, and it's kind of very disconnected. Whereas I found from my kids, the most rewarding experiences were when I could learn from them. So if they become experts in something and they tell me about it and find out things that I don't know, then we're connecting and we're becoming curious.
Can adults still be curious?
Absolutely. If they're not, they've got this brain disease. I mean, if a brain isn't curious, you know, your brain is malfunctioning because it's designed to take data in from all your senses all the time and adjust and adapt. That's what it's for. That helps your survival in the natural environment. It helps you adapt to the environment you're in. That helps you survive and grow. And it gives you a sense of purpose. When your brain is changing and adapting, a sense of fulfillment, all these chemicals that make us feel good happen as a result of the brain being curious.
What kind of advice do you have for adults who maybe are having a hard time trying to rediscover their curiosity?
Rediscover nature. We are natural. We are natural beings. We're biological systems. And if you take a biological system and you take it out of its habitat, it will diminish. It will wither. Our natural habitat is outdoors, not indoors. Our natural habitat is with other people, not on our own. Our natural habitat is with other species. Get a pet, get a dog, get sunlight, you know, don't get artificial light. Cook on a campfire, not in a microwave. I mean, it's not rocket science, but I'm sure it works for most people.
And then I guess my last question is on a personal note, how do you practice being curious?
Well, I try and the first thing that happens when I wake up in the morning is I say to myself, oh, thank goodness I've survived another night. That is saying, that's great. What am I going to discover today? Who am I going to meet? What interesting new connections are going to happen in my brain? What other ideas am I going to have? And I think that question mark, that waking up in the morning with a spring in your step, wanting to leap out and find out what's going to happen that day, what's going to be around the next corner, you know, it sets me off to have a day full of curiosity.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for taking the time with us today and sharing some thoughts on curiosity. And I hope that we can talk again soon.
That's great, Matt. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.